This is good. This is gonna be good. I can tell already.
Well, hey everybody, here we are, Winging It with Ron. Now this is Charlotte 2 edition.
So I'm on the second one. I didn't get to be on the first one.
Let me finish,
Okay.
Kyle.
Right.
We're at a place called Lebowski's, and it's supposedly very famous for its wings here in Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we don't wear the hat. Sorry. There's no rules.
No rules. You just eat.
Do we dip?
Talk. Ooh, this one's it's pretty
That's good.
spicy.
That was good. That was good sauce.
Now, you're not a big wings guy either, right? I mean, you like them?
I like wings. So I'm not a big sports guy. So most people eat a lot of wings when they watch sports and stuff.
You don't watch football or baseball? No.
No, I watch racing.
Like on Sunday, you
I
don't
watch
even
racing.
want to watch football?
No.
You don't have a favorite team?
No.
Really?
Green Bay's my favorite team. I was a band guy in high school.
See, I didn't know that either.
Played saxophone. I was in a marching band.
I didn't know that you actually put an album out.
Oh, you know what?
And I got to search in here.
I've done a little bit of everything, man.
I know.
There's not much I had. So here's the thing.
Okay, hold on. We're going to transition into dry rub. This is garlic parm. So when you do wings, do you do sauce? Do you like dry rub better? Do you know?
No, I would do sauce. I would
Okay.
do sauce.
See, I'm a dry rub
I don't think
guy.
I've ever had dry rub.
See,
That's
I
like
it
Memphis barbecue compared to North Carolina barbecue. I don't like. So I'm gonna have a flat.
So there you go. Look
I'm gonna have a flat. I'm gonna have a flat. I may spin and hit the wall here, but I'm gonna have a flat. Okay.
Wow.
That's good.
There's our bone plate.
Okay.
Got to have a bone plate. Now, speaking of which, so you talked about your era of driving, which I had this conversation with people. I grew up loving music, great, and just to
That's
me,
right, man. You're good.
to me, music drives everything in my life. Like even
Yep.
when I get in the car, I've got great moments in the car of a song that was in my head or a song I listened to. Right. Grew up loving the '80s, heavy metal. Not big on country, but I still like it. But we were talking the other day, made a bunch of friends, on how we grew up in this era that music will never be the same. Like we've got to the tail end of the '60s. Our parents listened to the '50s, which was
Yep.
music
That's
like
right.
you'll never have again, and you don't have today. Into the '70s, which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some of the bands and some of the biggest musicians in the world that you'll never ever have again on that caliber and that talent.
True,
right?
true.
Elvis and the Stones and things like that. So pretty neat time period
was a great time.
to grow up.
Yeah, it was a great time. Because when you look at it, I mean, think about it. The Beatles come to America. Elvis is here. And you've got blues, you've got jazz, you've got, but they're all kind of, they're finding their place. And then in the early 70s, you take Carole King and Carly Simon and James Taylor, and they became singer-songwriters, and that became a thing, And then I was fortunate enough to do some stuff with John Oates. But then you have Hall & Oates, and you have that type, kind of pop rock or whatever you want to call it. And then, in that time, you also have stadium rock, man, with Journey and Boston and Kiss. And I mean, you don't have that stuff.
No.
Nobody puts on a show like that.
Nope.
Man, when you're sitting in the audience and you're 15, 16, and Gene Simmons comes out over the audience, and he's just flying out because he's connected to those cables.
I was in Kiss Army, by the way.
Oh, no way, man.
Original Kiss Army.
No way,
member.
dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like, those guys were just ace, and all those guys.
And you listen now, and
gods,
it's like
man.
4 chords.
Yeah,
Right?
I know,
It's
that's all it was.
Yeah.
That's all, it's like, so, I will say this. So I took I will say this about that music. So I took Adam and Austin when they were younger, and we went to an Aerosmith concert. I know Brad pretty well, and so they're 10, 11, 12, something like that, probably early 90s. So we're coming back home, and we're riding, and them and 4 or 5 of their friends they're talking, and they're arguing about what Aerosmith's greatest CD is, not their greatest album, because they have no clue what an album is.
Right.
Nobody knew what vinyl was. Vinyl had disappeared at that point in time. So they're arguing about what their greatest CD, and this one kid just spoke up from the back of the van, matter of fact, easy, their greatest hits, that's their best album. That's their best CD. And I'm like, where do you think they came from, man? It came from Toys in the Attic. It came from all this other stuff. You know what I mean? But that's the way they know. But the interesting part is, there was a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds that loved it. You know?
Yeah.
So you can't, you have to say, I agree. That's the greatest period. Still, because people go back to that. People will go, I'm not sure. I mean, I love, and I know you're going to find this hard to believe. I like rap because I am mesmerized at how they put those words together and rhyme. And when you read those words, it's like, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like what you do. It's crazy. I see it. I don't understand it. You know what I mean? I don't. Drag racing is something that I have never tried. I will say that.
See, that was my next question.
No, I've never tried it. But
ever wanted to?
You know
Remember
what?
John Andretti came over and he drove the dragster one time. And
Yeah, but he could do stuff like that. He was talented. John was. You know what? I never. It's funny, and we were talking earlier, even before we started, about driving different stuff. I never wanted to drive anything but cup cars. That's what my dad had. That's what my granddad had. That's what we had.
Yeah.
And I never looked over at drag racing or looked over at IndyCar racing or in any other form and just lusted after it and said, oh man, I got to do that. I thought it was neat. But every time I looked at it, I was like, now what are they doing that I can use to make me go better over
how
here?
close were you to maybe trying the 500 at one point? Ever?
Nah,
No, never.
Trying the snake pit down in turns 1. Yeah, I would have tried that.
It is pretty good.
I would have tried that, but not the race thing. No. I've just never. You know what? It's just funny. I don't know why, and I don't know if it's because my dad never really did, and I never saw him go do that stuff. I only, when Adam's accident happened, I drove his Xfinity car, but that's really the only. I didn't run a lot of Xfinity. I didn't run anything but cup races.
Yeah. Well, you won your first race.
That was an ARCA race. Yeah, that
with
was
your dad's old cup car.
With
right?
an old cup car.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's all I ever did. And then, so here's the funny thing. So I had never driven a race car, and they said, "Well, let's go to Daytona, man. That's a good place." Yeah, let's go to Daytona. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
That's like, you want to be a drag racer? Let's go to Pomona. Yeah, that's a good place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good place
let's
to
go,
start.
man. That's a good place to start, dude. Let's go. So, so you go to Daytona, and then, so I had never, and people don't believe this to this day, but I had never, they would not let me sit in a race car. They wouldn't let me sit in it and crank it. They wouldn't let me sit in it and back it out of the shop. They wouldn't let me do anything, okay? Because they knew I was going to go crazy once I ever got in one. You know what I mean? I think they already knew that.
Yeah.
So I ran Daytona and an ARCA race, and then that same year I ran Talladega, Michigan, Atlanta, Ontario, the old Ontario Motor Speedway, and I think I ran Charlotte. I ran like 4 or 5 races. So my first year of driving a race car, at the end of the year, when December 31st rolled around, I had run 6 races, all on racetracks between 1.5 miles and 2.5 miles. I'd never run a short track in my life. We went to a short track, and I'm like, what in God's name is this? Why do people do this stuff, man? You know what I mean? You can't run fast here. What are they doing? So it took me, it took me forever. I had run 2 years of Cup. I had to run almost 3 years of Cup before I had 70 or 80 races under my belt as a driver. I mean, it's crazy. You just learn, it's like learning in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, don't worry about it, we're making money. Let's go do it. I'm like, yeah, sounds good to me, man. We got sponsors, let's go do it.
It's in your DNA, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to try Stinger.
All right, Stinger.
I don't
So
even know
I'm
what
going to
this-
move this one. This was,
I don't know what Stinger.
that was that
where it ranks.
you have nothing for me for Stinger? You have
No.
not, I mean,
I think that they said it's like middle of the road, a little higher, because we're going to work our way up to Buffalo High.
you were very elegant and eloquent in the way you explained all the other ones, but Stinger is like, here's Stinger. I don't know what that means. All right, so I'm going to try one.
You wouldn't believe some of the places. You ever been to Bentley's?
Bentley's.
Maine?
Oh, Bentley Warren's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we know Bentley pretty well. And
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we did this at his place.
Oh, did you
when
really?
We raced out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, had a blast.
I
Great
bet
wings.
you did.
He
You have
hired-
a blast with Bentley no matter
Yeah,
what.
he is the best. And he hired a new chef, and his specialty is wings, believe it or not. So we got there just in time. I'm going to eat it the way Michael hates me to eat
There's no
it.
chicken in Maine, man. They freeze to death. Okay, this is like sweet
Mango,
almost.
huh?
Yeah, that's it.
What is the Stinger? What?
Beef steak, sweet and spicy.
Oh, see?
There we go.
Kind of middle of the road,
Good.
safe.
That's a good sauce.
Great one.
When you put a fire suit on, as you know, you don't want to dig into the hot wings prior to getting in the car very often.
We were just talking about that the other day. Have you ever been sick in a car?
No. I threw up in my helmet when I raced go-karts as a kid,
No way.
and that was about as ugly as it gets. Here's the bone plate. I mean,
So-
it went all over, but I was about 14 years old.
So I tell you,
But I've sharded myself,
oh,
but not
that happens.
weird moments, you know,
Yeah.
explosion and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh yeah, but that's like life in front of you.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. So my dad had been sick in a car a couple of times. You know, and he had stomach problems.
Like
so,
threw up?
Yeah. Well, so on the floorboard in a car, you know, it gets like 500 or 600 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, where the tailpipes run right under, so it just bakes. So you can't clean it off.
Oh.
You know, you just got to scrub it, and then you got to take a grinder. And you just grind through the paint. You grind it all off. You know what I mean? So one night we're running Nashville, and that's one of those racetracks that you go in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, practice, have qualifying. Then you come back in that break for lunch, come back in the afternoon, practice again. Then they race at night. It was like a one-day show. So I'd had a Big Mac, and I'm not really big on fast food. I don't eat a lot of fast food. So I'm out there riding around it, and I'm like, it's coming. I can tell it's coming. So this is back when you wore open face helmets and stuff, you know what I mean? So it's coming, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, it's coming. So I just slow down, pull over, like, boom, boom, boom. Never come in the pits. Pull down, unzip my uniform, threw up down my uniform, zip my uniform back up, and winched it back down and run the rest of the race. But I didn't have to clean up the car.
Oh.
I didn't have to clean up the car. You know what I
that
mean?
had to been
So as
bad.
soon as the race was over, oh my gosh, man. Oh, I was
'Cause you can
sick
smell
again.
it.
I was sick
You
again
ever
by the end
fart
of the
in your
race.
suit?
I was sick again by the end of the race.
And it leaks up in your suit and your helmet?
Yes,
that had to have been the worst smell.
Yeah, it's terrible.
God.
That was terrible. I will say that was not one of my finer moments. But I never ate a Big Mac before a race again either.
Jeez.
So see you, live and learn.
Yeah. We're going to go in. We're going to try the hot stuff here.
Oh my gosh.
Before we get out. And Sarah, you got a minute? We're going to talk Sarah real quick.
Okay, is Sarah gonna sit down with us?
No, she could stand here.
Okay.
We're going to get the
All right, Sarah.
background on this. Thank you for having us, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much.
Here.
Thank you very much. No, it's
Trying
all
to
you. It's all you. It's all you.
Yes. Okay.
Come on, man. Come on, come on.
So Lebowski's, we got to ask. Obviously, a great movie. It's a great. It feels like Lebowski's in here. It's laid
Yeah.
back. Everybody that comes in, they sit
Well, the
down.
dude.
It's like, yeah, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
But so, what started the whole buffalo wings and the buffalo feel and everything on the menu that's buffalo?
We bought the restaurant from a guy who was from Buffalo, from 12 years ago, or he started 12 years ago. He's from Buffalo, and so he has the best authentic true buffalo wings in Charlotte, which we continue. And then we also have beef on weck, which is our famous
It's a sandwich.
thin
Yeah, I had
steak
it.
roast
Gotcha.
beef sandwich. And weck is what we do the bread, and you put something on it, and kosher salt and caraway seeds and the au jus, and it just melts in your mouth.
They also got Labatt's beer, which is hard to
Oh,
find,
yeah.
and it's a big buffalo thing apparently.
Right. And,
So-
Okay.
Tell them about the name, Sarah.
So
Where they come from?
Lebowski's, the previous owner just loved the movie, The Big Lebowski, with the dude, and you know, he was a laid-back guy, and always had a White Russian, so
Yeah.
we have signature White Russians in our bar. Yeah, but it actually has nothing to do with Buffalo. He just liked both things, and here we are.
That's a combination right there, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
that is.
Thank you for having us.
The
Thanks
movie
for
was
being
filmed
here.
in Venice Beach, California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a great
Which
name.
it makes no sense either.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
But it
Exactly.
works.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for having
Thank you
us.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to dig into the hot ones, Sarah. And
That's good. Well,
today.
thank you for having me, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right.
Thank you, man.
There you go. Winging it with Ron, Charlotte 2, and can't thank Kyle Petty enough. Check out the book. It's a great read. Whether you're a race car fan or not, it's a great read.